In this lesson, we'll talk about the different kinds of files that we can deal with in ZBrush. So files are not really very exciting, but I just want to make sure that we're very clear on the kinds of files in ZBrush, because it can be confusing when you're first starting out what exactly you're saving from where. And so let's talk about really three major kinds of files that we can save out. Okay, so we've got our super awesome sphere that we've created, and so we now want to save this out. So there's different ways that we can save it. If we want to go ahead and save this as a 3D model, so we want to continue working on it later, we want to create a production model out of this, we can save this out as a Z tool. Okay, that's going to be what you'll think of as a model. Okay, is going to be a Z tool. It can be composed of multiple objects, which we'll see as we go through this series of courses. But the main thing is that it's the model that you want to come in and take into edit mode and do your modifications to the polygons, and you want to sculpt on it. It's going to be saved typically as a Z tool. And so you can do that from the tool palette. You can say save as. You can navigate to wherever you want to save it. And you can see this ZTL is the file extension. I'm going to just go into the project files, and I'm just going to save this as Super Sphere. Okay, and let's save it out. All right, and if you want to load that back up, all you have to do, if you've opened up a new session of ZBrush and it's not loaded into your tool palette, all you have to do is go to Load Tool and navigate to Super Sphere. Go ahead and open it up, and there you can load it in, draw it onto your canvas, and begin working immediately. Okay, so when you're thinking about saving out your 3D model, you want to save it as a Z tool. That will save the tool itself. It won't save any of these other tools in here, just the object that you're working on. Okay, so that's typically where we want to save things out. We can also export geometry. So if we wanted to export this out of ZBrush as something other than a ZTL file, we could go to Export. Here we can save this out as an OBJ or a .ma file, or a GoZ file as well. So if you need to export it as another, to take it to another application, you can do that from there as well. That's all in the tool palette. Now, one thing that gets confusing is the document. So if we save out our document, so go ahead and save or save as under the document palette, it's actually going to give you a warning, and it hasn't always done this. And so this is a really great thing. It's going to tell you that you have a tool in edit mode. So you've got a 3D object there. Do you want to save the document really, or do you want to save the active tool? So this is a really great kind of just warning here at the beginning to let us know and remind us that if we save a document, we're really just saving the image. We're saving that canvas. We're not saving the 3D model, so that if we were to bring that document back, it would be in that dropped state that we talked about earlier, where we can sort of see it. It's got depth, but we can't rotate and move around it or edit the polygons. And so this is a really nice warning that it gives us, letting us know if we proceed, we can save the document, but we're not going to be saving the tool. So it actually gives us a nice choice here, and we can either save the tool or save the document, which is a really great addition here. And so that's document. We can also save projects, and projects kind of include a lot of different stuff. And so if we go to File and Save As here, we can actually, if we're working with a project that has multiple objects loaded up here, multiple Z tools loaded up, and we've got materials and things, we can go ahead and save this as a project. So if we were to go ahead and open up a project, for instance, let's just go into Lightbox and go into Project. If we open up any of these projects, so let's just double click on this guy. It's actually going to say, okay, the project's going to change. Do you want to save the changes to your existing project? We can say no. And so that'll actually bring in the new background. You can see that we've got a Z tool here with a ton of different subtools. If you want to bring in an external project, we can go ahead up to File and say Open. And then we can open up a project here. And that'll do the same thing. It'll kind of replace everything with our existing project. This is kind of the project that we're going to go through the process of creating throughout this whole sequence of courses, rather, with a little alien guy here. And so we're in edit mode, we can kind of move and rotate around our model. If we wanted to save this is one Z tool. We could save this out as a Z tool. We could also save it out as a project. If we saved it as a document, we're only getting the dropped canvas. So it's going to look fine from here, but we're not going to be able to pick it up, move and rotate, do any sort of sculpting or editing on it. So just keep that in mind, the difference between documents or Z documents, Z tools, and Z projects. Okay. Also, I just want to let you know the history is right up here, so that if we let's just take a cylinder here, and we start to work on this cylinder, you can see that this little guy moves to the right, and so we can progress back through our history by accessing this. So Control Z is going to be undo, just as in other applications, but we can also move through our history this way, which is kind of cool. Probably see how that you can actually make movies out of this as well, to see kind of your process of getting to a certain point with your sculpt. Okay, now you can see I've got my cylinder loaded up here in edit mode. If I want to switch to another Z tool, all I have to do is click on that Z tool. I'm still in edit mode, and I can move around and begin editing it. So you don't have to draw out a new tool every time. If you're in edit mode, you can just click on the particular tool that you have loaded, and it'll kind of swap those out. Okay, so that's a look at the different file types. Again, something simple, but something that we need to be clear on, and so kind of avoid any frustration that you might have when you're trying to save out your 3D models. The next thing that we'll talk about is using primitives. So bring in some basic primitive shapes, take a look at initializing those shapes, using the initialize parameters to change those shapes, and then also an important step that we need to do if we're going to begin sculpting. So we'll talk about that in the next lesson.